Welcome back to the Valorant Champions Tour, where we find ourselves in the lower bracket still in a matchup between Sentinels and 100 Thieves. Now, the loser of this one gets sent to Challenger 3. The next site that we're going to has 3 spikes, or 3 spike sites, I guess, or bomb sites.
There's still one spike.
Not 3
this
spikes.
would be clear.
Yeah, that would be crazy. That's probably
that would be
game
wild.
mode down the future. We might have something like that. But more importantly, we're headed to Haven Dust, and 100 Thieves act against a wall here.
Yeah, Sentinels haven't lost a game of Haven in over 2 months, and they've won their last 15 Haven matches in a row. So I just want to throw that fun fact out there. They have a 78% win rate on Haven. They are nearly 60% win rate on both attack and defense. You don't mess around with Sentinels on this map. That's all I am trying to get across. Now, interestingly enough, out of the only 2 losses they've had since friggin' late August, 100 Thieves is one of them. So, in the semifinals of the Nerd Street Gamers closed qualifier, they did beat Sentinels on Haven, but then they were able to get revenge on 100 Thieves in the semifinals on that map, at least. Obviously, they lost the match. So, just want to throw that one out there that, you know, Sentinels on Haven, no slouches. Now, 100 Thieves, you know, 60% win rate on Haven, certainly not bad. You know, pretty strong on both sides of the map. They've won their last 5 in a row, but most of those wins have been against probably teams you've never even heard of, if I'm honest with you. Like, no offense to those guys, but just not against the same class of opponent. So, yeah, I mean, Sentinels already coming in a map to the good. Certainly do look like the heavy favorites on their map pick of Haven to perhaps get the 2-0 and get a master spot and send 100 Thieves to Challengers 3. But, you know, again, 100 Thieves, pretty solid team if they can shake that one off. You know, they are certainly a team that can at least put up a fight on this map. They obviously had some really grueling wins against Ghost and Gen G earlier on over the last few days, and going into last week. So I would expect them to at least wake up a little bit and put up a contest here.
Wake up, I think, is kind of the takeaway that I get there. They have to be awake after that stomping on a Sentinels. I mean, we saw the replays there, and it just looked like a Sentinels highlight package. You would think that we were on their YouTube channel. More importantly, sick, just popping off like an absolute madman. If you're 100 Thieves, you have to try and find a way to mitigate that player here on Haven. Now, things I'm expecting are slower play styles. That's exactly what I'm expecting here as we jump into Haven. You have a handful of sites to work with, not 3 spikes, but 3 spike sites to play with, and a bit slower. I'm more interested in how much free real estate you're going to find on this B site. How much or how free is that going to be? Because I think that is where we're going to see a whole lot. Steel going to be looking to get a whole lot of playtime through that. Dapper as well. These lurkers, maybe even Sinatra playing in the lurk. B is going to be a site that I'm paying attention to, not necessarily for plants as a whole, but for what can come of that site or playing through that site.
Yeah, I mean, Haven is one of those maps that, you know, with it just being so large, information is so key. And it's really easy on the attacking side to deny information. Like, you can smoke top C, you can use either like jet smokes or a cipher cage or any number of pieces of utility to block off vision on long A to the defense, which means that you can always keep them guessing that maybe you're taking control of sewers and that they have to worry about that. Meanwhile, on the defending side, you can certainly try to put pressure on middle, put pressure by pushing outside of B site and like pressuring window or taking like forward angles. So there are certainly ways to try to contest against that, but it can set you up to have to play for a lot of retakes defensively, which is why attacking sides can have a lot of success on this map. But Sentinels, again, is a team that has a lot of success on the defense. I think a lot of the reason for that is Sinatra, you know, just being such a nuisance in Garage in particular, and just being able to really use that Sova to high effect on this map and really help his team kind of make up for the fact that the map can be, you know, a hard situation to cover all spaces at once. You know, this team just seems to do well. And I think another big reason why is because Dapper is such a good C anchor with that Cypher. He's really good at stalling out attacks, buying time for rotations, and just playing smart Valorant. So, you know, again, it's not that I'm counting 100 Thieves out here on Haven. They are a quality team with some fantastic players, and they have at times really shown a knack for this map. But, I mean, if you're hedging your bets, Sentinels, after what we just witnessed on Ascent and just looking at the track record of Sentinels on Haven, again, they've won their last 15 games in a row. They haven't lost since, like, late, again, like 2 months ago. So, and even then, they only had, like, 2 losses in, like, their last 25 games. So, they are just sometimes an unstoppable force when it comes to Haven. So yeah, I think that safe money is probably on them in this situation, at least on this map.
Sentinels also seem to get that lower bracket buff where they come down here and they kind of need that nudge in well, what seems like the wrong direction, but seems to be the right direction for that team. They jump down to the lower bracket and then they just start running it all the way through their lower bracket. And in that last one, you may have thought, or in Challengers 1, I would say, is you may have thought, sure, the lower bracket was a little bit easier when you look at those teams. This one, no easy feat. Again, it's 100 Thieves down here. And it might seem like we're really harping on how great Sentinels are. And I mean, it's pretty inarguable at this point, especially going into Haven. And I think more importantly, what you kind of get out of the discussion that we've been having or what we've been talking about for the last few minutes, Dust, is 100 Thieves, they are not impressing like we saw them in First Strike. They're just not having that same wow factor you expect. Just like you see in the videos, you expect Asuna to jump on through and find 3Ks with the Raze ultimate and really frag out, not go, I think it was 2 and 12 for the entirety of that first half on Ascent. Like, that's just not what you expect. So you can really, in this matchup, only say good things about Sentinels because they're the team that are showing us good things.
Yeah, again, I feel like the sample size for 100 Thieves, despite the fact that they've kind of been around for a while, is actually still very small. I don't think people really take the time to think about that. I mean, again, they've only played 3 tournaments or so with their full lineup. If you count First Strike as a whole as like one event, like combining the open and close qualifiers and everything into like one process.
Yeah.
A lot of maps were played in that process. Don't get me wrong. So they have some feet under them, certainly as far as official experience. But the fact that they had to play without Nitro for Challengers 1. The fact that they completely rehauled their team at the end of last year, it's one of those things where, yeah, it's kind of hard to still fully tell how good of a team they are. I mean, certainly winning First Strike was a bold initial statement from this new lineup, and they did pretty well the JBL Quantum Cup. Like, you got a top placing there. But yeah, I think there still is a lot to learn about this team going forward. And then where you look at Sentinels, they've been around since the jump, and they have always been at the top or near it for as long as I can remember since Valorant kicked off last year. So, and they've always been known to be like the most skilled lineup man for man of any team, right? Like, obviously Sinatra is super flashy, X Factor all over the place, but you have Shazam, who's definitely one of the best jet operators in the region. Wardell obviously kind of usually takes the #1 position for a lot of people, but I think Shazam's not too far behind by any means. And then you have a guy like Sick, who just recently has finally started to get the credit he deserves, but he was always quietly like the rock of the team, like the foundation that you could rely upon, while you have your guys like Shazam and Sinatra who can be kind of the flashy ones and doing their job. And then Dapper, honestly, is one of the best Sentinels in the region. He is incredibly intelligent, really smart decision maker, and he frags out. So, yeah, they are truly a behemoth to deal with in this region. But 100 Thieves was a team, when they rehauled everything, that looked like they had built the roster that actually had quite a bit of skill in their own right, between like Asuna on the aggressive end and Hiko on the more passive clutch end, and everyone in between. Nitro coming in as the best omen perhaps in North America, and how he plays that agent's kit to set up other teammates and to be a foundation in his own right, similar to Sick for Sentinel. So yeah, we're going to come into Haven now, and in Agent Select, I mean, this is just the 100 Thieves Haven lineup, right? I mean, there's really, nothing changing up too much about them. Asuna obviously going to be on the Phoenix rather than Reyna. That's pretty common for him. One of the best Phoenixes in the region next to Drone. So no shocker there. And then on the Sentinel side of things, again, I mean, Sick's been playing Phoenix for quite a while now on Haven, so there's really nothing to look at there. And everyone's on the agents you would expect. Sinatra, of course, going to be on that Sova for Haven, as he does play Sova, obviously on Ascent as well. So yeah, this is, standard compositions for both teams. There's really nothing to like detail too much. I think this is just kind of the expectation. No one's throwing out any curveballs here.
Except for Phoenix, of course.
I'm not even going to acknowledge that further than what I just did.
Except for Phoenix.
I've had some pretty corny jokes too. So
joke again. Guys, it's Haven. We're about to be underway. We see identical compositions locked in. When you see this, a couple of things you have to pay attention to are the jet operators and how much value they are getting. And more importantly, when that operator comes online, Shazam and Dicey, the players that I'm going to be taking a peek, because there are so many different angles here on Haven that you can use that operator. So we'll have to keep an eye out If Sentinels win this game, ladies and gentlemen, they secure their spot in the Masters tournament for the VCT, and they continue to battle through Challengers 2 to earn an extra sum of money. 100 Thieves, should they lose, they go back to Challengers 3 in the closed qualifiers. As we kick off the pistols, it's quick out the gate. It's 3 members stacked towards B and mid control coming out from Sentinels.
Indeed. So we are going to see them maybe start putting that pressure on B side or garage, or maybe both at the same time. So we're going to see them start dashing in here. Dicey trying to stay alive and buy time for a bit of a rotation. Spike is certainly going to go down, or perhaps not. Dicey able to strike that down. Sick able to at least have the quick response. Spike will be recollected by Sentinels. They have a 4-on-4 now on the B site. Asuna and company starting to pinch in, but Zombs, great job there holding his angle. Will stop that from breaking through, but it's just tit for tat, man. Back to a 2-on-2 now.
And with the Spike rotating out towards A, I said we got to pay attention to that B site, and it was actually the first play of the game here. Sentinels trying to catch 100 Thieves off guard. Now with the Spike planted, even more so trying to catch him off guard, playing very aggressive post-plant positions. Almost catching Hiko is Sick as that recon bolt. And get some information taken down, so they know one by the spawn. Maybe Dapper up towards heaven, and Sick hasn't been spotted out here, and there it is. He gets the jump on Hiko, finds a kill now. Nitro in a 1v2. Has a frenzy in his hands, but the high ground goes to Dapper, and the pistol goes to Sentinels.
Yeah, big round from them. Obviously a bit of a slugfest over there at the front of that B site, as can often happen, but Sentinels were able to kind of fight their way through, get access to A site through the link area, and then play a good post plant, so they will go ahead and jump up now 1-0. Obviously everyone dipping into their wallets here to pull out the SMGs. A couple of Buckies in play as well here for 100 Thieves, and honestly, sometimes that Steel Nitro combo can be very deadly over on that C side of the map. So that's one thing to think about, though. Steel will be actually anchoring over on A side with a tripwire over towards Sewer's position as he tries to focus that Bucky up on an angle over at long A. He was able to cam at C, but it has been blown up. Meanwhile, we see some aggression as well at C side. They're actually able to get Nitro in that closet area.
Oh, push up towards A short, though. Sewers not going to be for free. Steel's here with the Bucky. Cage going to stop that push for now. A second one on top of it to continue to delay, but Dapper hanging out just to make sure nobody getting too aggressive, pushing on through. It's the force up from Sentinels, as to be expected. It is that, you know, I had a really fun name for the Stinger or something, and now I lost it, and I'm sad about it.
It's okay. Nitro, the timing, everything here. He's setting up a smoke right as they push in. He's able to collect himself, gets the kill, and discovers the spike. As Sentinels were looking to make that pivot towards the C side of the map. In the meantime, what is going on here? Dapper sneaks into sight, Steel unaware. Big catch that's going to allow them to pivot that spike back over to the A side as Dapper holds onto the ground that he has gained with his sneaky maneuvering there. I feel like Dapper and Steel are some of the most sneaky Sentinels in NA as well, as far as how they're able to kind of get in behind people. Their timings are so good on some of these lurk plays, and Dapper is the one who comes up big this round. And it looks like Sentinels will go ahead and finish the job off the back of it. Zombs will mop up a couple of the 100 Thieves members there, and that's going to be the 2-0 lead for Sentinels, and 100 Thieves will likely now have to look to sit back and take a save, and Sentinels will be able to jump up very likely to a 3-0 lead now.
And I misspoke in that last one. It was 100 Thieves. Excuse me, not Sentinels forcing up. Obviously, Sentinels did buy, but 100 Thieves going back to the Stinger ways, and it falls flat again. This is the second map now. We see they might force up something here, but it's not going to be until that round number 4 that we see the rifles.
Done with Cypher's secrets.
Certainly. So good start here. The Sentinels are already a map to the good as well. Again, a grueling battle to Envy that they lost, as Envy are the ones to capture that master slot, but still one up for grabs here and now in the lower bracket, and Sentinels are certainly put their best foot forward here towards doing so. So we also have the B stream going on as well, covering the other lower bracket match. If you missed it, Immortals did beat Luminosity 2-0. They took the other master slot. And we have Luminosity taking on X-Set. So just add a little number 2 to the end of the link, and you'll be able to see that one as well.
The sewers control seems to be so important here for Sentinels in all of their plays as they found an early kill there. Make it another. Sick and Sinatra, Shazam, all the S's for this Sentinel squad finding the kills. Again, it wasn't Eco, so nothing really to write home about, but 100 Thieves just can't get anything going. And on top of a flawless round, everybody got on the board. A team ace for Sentinels.
Not bad. Do love to see that. I guess. I mean, I don't know for sure. If you're a 100 Thieves fan, maybe not.
Yeah, true. Sentinels
But
fans
otherwise,
do love to see that.
Team Ace is pretty good. Feels good situation as the bonus round is going to come into effect now for Sentinels, still sitting on 3 Spectres. Full buy out here from 100 Thieves, including the Operator on Dicey. See what they want to do here. It looks like Dicey's maybe going to try to take a pick over towards Garage and Middle. We see a drone being used at long C as they're trying to maybe look to get the orb here.
What is Sick going to be good for? 1 kill comes through. Dicey going to send him back, but I mean, that's more than you can ask for from the run it back, and Sick continues to go unscathed, unstopped here with that forward momentum. Still going to bring back the camera as that spike's going to be planted all the way on the opposite side, and if he tries to creep on through, Dapper waiting for this lurk, and there's a couple of trap wires that should trip him up as well. Asuna struggling to find a way on through. Zom's gonna ult away from this site, so now an extra member to play against that lurker as the flashes come down. A beautiful post plant from Sentinels puts him in basically a pretty good spot across the board. The hot hands gonna push one away, and Dicey gonna find the kill onto Shazam, so they're trying to do everything they can. The spike is now halfway, but the mollies and the flank come back in response. Zom's gonna find 2. The spike is halfway, but 100 Thieves just have no way to make a play on it. And Steel, the flank in the worst possible position here. The rifles, everybody just about dies, and 100 Thieves down 4-0.
Is there nothing that Sick can do, man, by the way? I mean, the guy literally made a name for himself as a Sage. He pivoted to playing a lot more supportive stuff at times, you know, Sky, even picks up Sova now on Icebox, basically setting up other players. Now he's the one with the Phoenix with the run it back, doing things like Drone and Asuna are known for in our region, just being able to implement and be an entry fragger. And now Sick's doing that too, man. So the guy is just, the Swiss Army knife of the North American scene. So much value that he brings to the table. Now it's a big round for him, getting that entry on the C site and just unlocking the way for Sentinels to find their 4th round. And now we see Zoms holding out for the flank here through C position. I'm pretty sure he's aware. What? Okay, I would have thought he wouldn't have allowed Asuna what he got there, but all of a sudden, none of these have made this interesting.
Yeah, that was, I mean, the blades used here in the eco round from Dicey nets a kill out towards that spawn. And I mean, the Zoomers, somehow, some way, they find a small hiccup in the plans here. Nitro creeping on through. Shazam sniffs it out, takes him down. It was low HP on the Omen. And although it's a 3v3 again, we have to take into consideration what 100 Thieves have going for them, which doesn't feel like a whole lot. Dicey does have the knives, but has to be picture perfect here. And Shazam through the smoke. Speaking of picture perfect, Sentinels continue this oppressive onslaught here on Haven.
Yeah, they really are just laying the hammer down here on 100 Thieves. They're going to keep those smokes and cages up on this back halls. No one can break through. They are getting chipped away at, and now they are being finished. 100 Thieves were trying to make a bit of a play there. They did even get the opening 2 kills on the round with some of their aggressive maneuvers, but eventually Sentinels were able to recover just fine and put that one out. I think this was the big one. I think Nitro had a chance to get the jump on Shazam that could have made things a bit tough on Sentinels, but when Shazam catches that and gets the kill on Window Room, it's pretty much a done deal. Great round from Shazam in particular there to go ahead and put it to 5-0 to the good of Sentinels. Steel is going to pick up a bit of an LMG here, so we'll see if this change is fruitful. He's going to be playing that garage position now over with Nitro. Smokes exchange at long C orb collected for Sentinels. They now have the Hunter's Fury available for a post plant or to clear an angle for an attack, as it looks like they are maybe looking to split C again. They're getting the drone up, they're clearing closet, they're getting into C, they're starting to also position themselves to maybe also push into garage.
But with the tag usually comes the Hunter's Fury. And that's the Ares down. Steel gets 0 value outside of information, but traded for his life. Zico gonna try and send it back. Nitro Shazam go back and forth, and unfortunately that Hunter's Tree only gonna find a bit of damage, and once more 100 Thieves find themselves on the back foot. Asuna trying to do what he can. He's blinded inside the blaze wall, has nowhere to go, and is gonna be sent right back. Sinatra and Dapper on the board. They leave it all up to Hiko, but this is very familiar for Shazam. Kills inside of Garage. Sentinels to 6. 100 Thieves still yet to find a win.
Once again, it's Asuna on a cold start. Again, think about back to the first map where he started out the game 1-11. He started this game 1-6. This guy is supposed to be kind of the engine of the team, and he is really struggling here. It's obviously still early days. He can still recover, and it's not just him. Generally speaking, Sentinels are just dominating the server, just as they did early on Ascent. They just have absolutely no chill. They're trying to speed run this lower bracket match, dude. Like they are crushing right now. They're just going out swinging, and they're not missing anything.
You can typically write stuff off like Asuna having a bad game. That happens. Having a bad series. It happens to literally everybody, but this one being so incredibly important. Now Sentinels should just be able to run the show for the most part. Neural Theft is going to give out some information they already have as Asuna falls down towards sewers, and 100 Thieves down to their last 2, just looking to depart whatever they can find. The Stinger's not going to be enough once more. Zam finds another, starting to pad the stats. Like I said, it's so important, one of the most important, because you're going to have to run it back in Challengers 3 if you go down here.
Yeah, and again, like, Sentinels, as we've already talked about multiple times throughout this series and in the previous, they are a very aggressive team. They're very much in your face. They love to scrap, and Haven really plays to that because with the map so large, you're gambling if you're 100 Thieves defensively, if you're going to try to stack or push something. If you're spreading the map and playing standard, that really plays the Sentinels just being able to overwhelm a site and then force you to play retake, and perhaps they're already going to have mana advantage at that point. And again, it's such a large map. It's so hard to make rotations. You have to play like a perfect defense when it comes to the information game to be able to rotate effectively and really stand a chance on a map like this. And Sentinels are just not allowing it. They're just getting in. They're trading very effectively. And they're just showing up with better individual form. They're instilling their game plan perfectly.
And even in the small amount of information given right there, we saw 2 rounds where Dapper gets spotted out by that recon bolt. You can't spray through that wall. You can't get a whole lot off of it. The sewer control is not sewer control. This time around, though, Asuna going to take a different angle and catches Dapper out. Slowly starting to come online. Slowly starting to wake up. But is it too late here, Dust? 100 Thieves now have run him down to the last. Asuna trying to come online for the ace. It's Sinatra to sit him down. But the sleeping giant has awoken. He finds 4, and Hiko close it out. What a way to get on the board.
Yeah, that was an interesting round because, you saw Sentinels going for some sewers control with the cages on the long A cross, but Asuna was playing aggressive on those cages, found a timing, comes in, kind of backstabs it almost felt like they were trying to get those players through A into Link after they planted the spike or something like that. And Asuna just kind of broke that thing wide open and was able to then flank their window room and collect 4 kills. And so, yeah, it seemed like Sentinels were a little bit spread thin on that round, and they just got disjointed by Asuna kind of getting in between them, I guess you could say. So that was quite the round from 100 Thieves. Really well done, but they need to build off of that. Asuna, again, looking to get aggressive. He has a run it back available as well. Both Phoenixes do, actually. Sick already using his here to try to put that pressure over towards Garage. And Dapper catches Asuna this time around. He was anchoring that side of the map, and 6 sweeps through for 2 entries with the run it back.
Hiko, sure, you can't count him out just yet. Walks away with 42 HP after finding 2. But guess what? Shazam, Garage, name a better duo, Dust. As it's all down to Dicey and the operator. And in a situation like this, I think you just save. It is a 1v2. Dicey is known to be a little flashy. But should he find this next kill? If he doesn't in the next few seconds, I think you just go for the save here.
Yeah, I think if he can find one quick, it would certainly prompt him to want to go for it, especially with them being this far behind on the scoreboard. Going for a play like this actually does make sense now because they're just leaking way too many rounds here. That's a great pick onto Sick. That's all of a sudden unlocking some options. He can swap over to the Vandal. Going to be tough on Dapper here now. He doesn't know which angle he's going to have to defend.
He's running out of time, and Dapper is in arguably the most awkward spot I've ever seen. He tries to go for the knife, and guess what? You didn't get it, but you bought enough time as Sentinels move to 8, and Dicey dies on the way out. It's all coming, it's falling down. Everything crumbling on top of 100 Thieves.
Yeah, it would have been nice if he could have gotten away and got the operator back and then saved that over. Now they're not going to have the sniper coming into this round, I don't think. It's just going to be rifles across the board. Nice try, though, from Dicey. He got a couple of nice kills. He was really patient when Shazam was kind of poking and prodding at him. Was able to find that, found a second, and gave himself a chance, but just not quite. You know, it is what it is. As Sentinels now up 8-1. Alts are pretty equal for both teams at this point as far as what's available. They're going to go for some pretty quick A pressure here. They still do have the Omen presence over on C side, but they are really laying the pressure on. Asuna forced to run it back. He gets caught, though, with no value. In the meantime, Nitro's Lurk does find Zoms out on C side, so defense does have a man advantage now, and they're trying to put the pressure on as well at A, and it's working out beautifully.
Asuna, again, able to find a couple of kills. Absolutely pivotal for this 100 Thieves roster. Sick is here, though. Man of the hour, last game. Top fragging, looking to do the same in this one. Dicey with that aggressive posture over towards that A lobby area is able to find a kill onto Shazam. Now it's all up to Sick. And if anybody can do it, Sick can. It's a 1v4. Nitro with the paranoia across, and Asuna will pick up the kill as he is blinded. 100 Thieves, they battle back, but they have a long way to go here. The next 2 rounds are going to be incredibly important.
Indeed they are. And they also could suffer a huge economic reset here with that victory and then a loss to follow. Like, they would basically have no credits to work with the final round of the half. They buy all that they can, sure, but it wouldn't be a whole hell of a lot. So this is really crucial. In fact, both economies are pretty fragile here, so that really could play into the final round of the hat, depending on how this plays out. Could be kind of a little bit of a combo deal. Sentinels would certainly love to be on the winning end of that, as they do have the Hunter's Fury available for post-plant and to clear angles, and they're going to drone into C. They're going to get the orb on Sick as well, and they do spot a player here towards the backside. It's going to be the Cypher of Steel that they found. They clear out the tripwire as well, and this is going to go ahead and get them in with 6. Run it back, but they don't clear this double stack of Nitro, so he's able to limit 6 impact there. And now I think Sentinels realize that C might be too enforced.
This is the first time in, we had 19 rounds in the first game. We're here, round 11 in this one. That Sick had finally been silenced, that they did something about it. They made sure he didn't get any value. He's still alive, but that run it back gets nothing, as does Shazam, going down early in this one. So maybe that duo isn't as strong as I thought. Shazam and Garage, instead it's Nitro and Steel, the duo holding it down on the C site, grabbing the information. Now it's all down to Zoms, a 1v5. It's a whole lot of time as well. Hashtag Zoms Nation?
No. Come on now. Let's be reasonable. Great first. Okay, stop.
Wait a second.
30 seconds
2
left.
kills come through. Hiko is on low health, and I think Nitro might just be about out of armor on top of it all. No shields. We'll see. It's going to be a 1v1 on the A site as the plant comes through. This is the low HP Hiko. Now running out of time. That recon bolt not going to find too much. Hiko getting the information that he's possibly pushing, playing around that dart, not planting. And we have the hindsight. If you just shoot through the smoke, you get the kill. But instead, it's low HP. But it's just enough for 100 Thieves to get back on the board.
Indeed it is. I will say this, though. They had to use, some alts there. And now there's still 3 in play for Sentinels on the final round of the half. So that could come up pretty big, especially that Hunter's Fury still available for Sinatra. You get a lot of value out of that. So even though they come in with a couple of stingers and so therefore inferior firepower overall, they still have a lot, I guess, more overall utility, I guess you could say. But we'll have to see how it plays out. Certainly a big half so far, but at least 100 of these are starting to recover here towards the end of this first half, winning 3 of the last 4. Starting to get a little bit of steam behind them. So we are going to once again see Sinatra droning up along C, spots Omen in the back, going to tag him, and now use the Hunter's Fury to try to get himself a pick. And he is going to find it onto Nitro. Still at least able to respond on Garage, though. Gets Sick out of the way. Big kill to get.
Out to get backstabbed, though. He is able to sneaks away with the timing on that cage. I thought maybe Shazam would be able to get a knife to the back of the head, but not going to be the case. Unfortunately, the dynamic duo for the C site, they're not both alive. Shazam will fall. The blade's going to go down as Asuna continues to try and stay hot here. Sinatra sneaks away narrowly, has that stinger in hand, is actually able to upgrade, but gets spotted out. And in a 3v2, make it a 3v1. Dapper needs to do something crazy. Finds the kill onto one, and here comes the crazy. Trying to grab a 9-3 half as the Neural Theft gives the info that he needs. Dapper gonna look to push on. Shock Dart gonna find some damage. 67, excuse me. HP, one kill comes through, almost alive. Oh! Dapper gets it done. 9-3 at the half. What a way to close it out from the Sentinels here. As we have to jump away for a quick break, guys. We'll see you on the other side. We're jumping back into it, but first, we've got a replay of that last round. Just too much hype to let go by the wayside, Dust.
Yeah, dude. I mean, this clutch from Dapper that we're going to see was just, yeah, I mean, come on. It just feels like the life is being squeezed out of 100 Thieves at this point. They need this pistol.
They get a bit of info. Not too bad of a way to start your pistol round. Paranoia gonna slow things down for a moment, and the aggression doesn't stop here. Even on the defending side, Shazam still playing incredibly aggressive. The hot hands get 0 value. Somehow Shazam sneaks away, but the spike sneaking on over towards that seaside, Dust.
That's absolutely the case here. 100 Thieves getting stalled out, though, by the cage as well as the dart. So Sentinels now know what they're up against. They also have a push out into defending spawn. There is a tripwire on their way, though.
I thought Sinatra was about to do something wild, just as his teammates have been able to do. Instead, he will be sat down, and 100 Thieves look to find themselves a plant. It's planted for long. Now, mind you, these aren't the most long-range weapons as we go back and forth on that kill feed, but Sentinels find themselves starting to get mowed down. Although the flank comes through, now we're in a 2v2, and that long plant doesn't mean a whole lot as they're on the site. Zoms, the last one standing. Can we get some heroics? Can we get some Zoms Nation here in this as the smokes traded out a nice little Venn diagram of the dark cover? Unfortunately, at this point, it would need to be right here, right now. It's Nitro to close it out. Zoms is running out of time. And as you said, Dust, an incredibly important round there for 100 Thieves. They pick it up, and what can they do moving forward?
Yeah, that was the first box they needed to check, and a very long list of things required to be able to get back in the mix here in a series that Sentinels have been absolutely dominating from start and to this point. And it could be all the way to the finish, but 100 Thieves able to get a big pistol victory there. They're going to have economic advantage going forward. And so it's a great chance to start closing that gap. And Sentinels are actually taking a step back here. They're not going to fully invest in the Stingers or anything aggressive here on this loss. They're going to look to just get a couple of upgraded pistols and take things a bit more conservatively as far as economics go. So 100 Thieves shouldn't have too much trouble finding a fifth, as there's not much to resist them coming into this one. So they're going to slide out for a bit of mid control while also pushing into long A.
You have to silence Sick. You cannot let him get too much here with a ghost in hand. And again, on the defensive end or on the losing end of those pistols, you still have to be wary if you're 100 Thieves of what they might have. Those Stingers are absolutely no joke. Stapper hanging out inside the cam. The hot hand's going to be queued up once more to try and stop a push. But it seems like 100 Thieves, not that they're not sure where to go, there just hasn't been an opening.
Yeah, I mean, Sentinels are doing a pretty good job keeping tabs on 100 Thieves' movements across the map with that cam tucked in the, back C spot. They're also now shifting their full defense towards A side, which is where 100 Thieves are headed. So even though they have low firepower, their numbers are going to be exactly where they need to be to have a chance. This could be very interesting.
Dash onto sight. Again, it's going to be the Spectre to the back, but Sentinels pick up 2 to kick things off, make it 3 and 6 with the Ghost. Nitro tries to push on through, and Hiko has to be the hero here. He's going to get flanked from behind. He pushes, takes the fight right to Zombs, the 1v2, and Sinatra with the classic, a thrifty round win pushes Sentinels to double digits.
That is absurd, man. That is a round you can't afford to lose if you're 100 Thieves trying to make a crazy comeback in a game that you're getting pummeled on. But Sentinels, to their credit, just, I don't know what exactly gave them the read. I know they had a cam at the back of C that was spotting, nothing going on over there. So they had a pretty good idea that, okay, they're not really trying to take long C control. They're not really trying to set up a C split. They obviously knew that no one was really coming garage. So they just kind of went ahead and gambled the rotation over to A, knowing that they had kind of left that open. And they had 4 players on site as 100 Thieves were attacking, and 100 Thieves got really punished for it, despite the fact there was low firepower. Now Sentinels looking to try to put this thing to a close. They get aggressive out in the middle. They find their initial kill, but that smoke sets up Nitro perfectly for a bit of a one-way onto Sick. Zombs to equalize, though, inside the sewers.
But yeah, it's back and forth, not in rounds, but for kills in this round. And again, nothing is going 100 Thieves' way. Nothing working in their favor. And again, Nitro picks one up, but Shazam there to answer. And they've got the better weapon. So if you continue to take these long-range fights, there is that, dice roll chance that the Stinger picks up a double dink or something. But again, there's just not a whole lot working. Now Shazam does get spotted out, but spots one out towards heaven. Now the spike to be planted. Dapper quite far away, so I think it would behoove of Shazam to try and play this slow, but instead he tries to grab the fight, and it's dicey with the upgraded Phantom from this round. A bit of escalation. Will end a round win, and Nitro tried to fake there, the shrouded step, but right into vision, and Dapper is looking to clutch up again. He's incredibly healthy. He's got the shots on target, and Dapper does it once more.
Oh no, I think what happened was Nitro was trying to teleport out of the corner. And there's something weird right now about the hitbox of that shrouded step where it can sometimes get caught on stuff. And I think it got caught on like a corner. And so instead of teleporting all the way over to the other side as intended, he got stuck. And then he was just exposed. I hate that for Nitro. That's such a, I don't even want to call it a mistake. It's just so unlucky. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. I don't know for 100%, but I can't imagine that if he was truly trying to fake a shrouded step, he would have done it way safer in the corner.
Yeah.
Like, that's, oh my God, that's gut-wrenching. I feel for him. I mean, obviously great clutch from Sentinels, don't get me wrong. They earned the victory, but I had to imagine Nitro, if that would have gone the way he planned, they would have had still a pretty solid 2-on-1 and a chance to win the round.
It makes a whole lot of sense that he would be trying to get out of there after Shazam just spotted
him.
him.
Yeah, certainly. That had to have been it, man. And that's gut-wrenching for that to happen to him. especially the way the score is right now.
That's just very unfortunate. As the knives come through, it's going to send Asuna right back from where he started. And Shazam, a nice little reset there. Going to go right back to the drawing board. Icy going to match blades for blades, but on the opposite side of Haven. And it's exactly where the spike is. So that was the recipe. Buy enough space, buy enough time, or Asuna is going to be taken down. Now they're running back in response, and they just might find Steel 2, who's only sitting on the Sheriff. Sick going to run him down. And again, Sick comes out on top. Going to make it a favorable matchup here for Sentinels in the retake. A very, very difficult post plan for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough indeed, but Hiko with the Hunter's Fury able to take down one and lighten the load a bit here, but Sick is just plowing on through with Psalms. There is no hesitation from the Sentinel squad. They are feeling it big time. They will get this defused, and they will now be one round away from joining the likes of Envy and Immortals for those guaranteed master slots here from the Challengers 2 event. It is right there for the taking, and they have so many chances to get it. I'm going to be real. I just feel like 100 Thieves never really showed up in the series, man. They have looked so cold in comparison to what I'm used to. I don't know what's happened, but they have just not really shown up the way that you would have expected. Even if you thought Sentinels were the favorite to win, the fact that it hasn't even been close is just kind of shocking. And I'm not sure why that's the case. But what I can say is Sentinels are absolutely banging it out. They are playing so well. And even when they lost to Envy, they still played pretty well overall.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
And the best way to battle back is right here, right now. Need 8 in a row here for 100 Thieves. And unfortunately for this squad, they didn't even pick up 8 in the last. So to take heroics. Entire effort for 100 Thieves. Nitro finds a kill. Sick gonna trade it right back. In a 3v3 we go. They're starting to get mowed down, and it's all up to Hiko, but he can't clutch it out. Sentinels take down 100 Thieves in 2-0 fashion and secure their spot inside of Masters.
Man, Sentinels were not messing around this series, dude. They came to play. They shook off that loss to Envy like it was nothing. And they come out here, dude, and I can't believe how badly they beat 100 Thieves there. Yeah. I was really thinking we would have a pretty solid series. Bro, they only got 10 rounds total between the two maps. Yeah. That's how dominated they got there. Sentinels absolutely lit the scoreboard. Shout out to Sick, first off. Man gets 40 kills across the two maps, and he didn't even get that many rounds to play to do it. So, I mean, he absolutely teed off for the entire series. Just a unit of a player. Shazam also teed off both maps. So, I mean, those two are definitely the MVPs of the series, that's for sure. But everyone did their job on Sentinel's side. And, again, they show you why they are the absolute masters of Haven. If you come for the king, you best not miss. And 100 Thieves certainly did on Haven time and time again. Sure, there was a couple of things that were like unfortunate that they couldn't control, like that whole Shrouded Step situation for Nitro and Heaven. I mean, I can't fault the guy for that. That was BS. But I mean, that's one thing, right? Generally speaking, you know, Sentinels were just absolutely wrecking them. So, man, congrats to Sentinels. They joined Envy and Immortals on the Masters tournament. Now, we're still waiting to see who will win between Luminosity and Xset. That's actually going on the other channels. I'm sure we're going to host here soon once we close out the show here. So, yeah, lots of Valorant still to go. But I think we got a little bit more to talk about from the series, don't we, Tanner?
Yeah, we do. I mean, there's a whole lot to kind of wrap up. And I think we are going to jump over to our Mike and Ike Sweet Play of the Day. And there are just so many. There's so many that we could see coming out on the day. And yeah, I don't know. We'll wait for a second after this to talk, because there's a whole lot to be said. But here it is, Envy Sentinels, and who better than Shazam to come online in this, in a very, very dire moment. Picking up a 4K there.
Yeah, that's what really kept them in that game, for sure.
Yeah.
Obviously, Envy did still go on to win it, but I mean, that's what made that game a contest and kept Envy from just plowing through. But yeah, certainly deserving. Shazam had a hell of a series, just like Sick. And man, I'm glad that it's gone this way. I mean, it's one of those things where 100 Thieves will certainly still be a very powerful threat in Challengers 3 to come through. There's still 4 more spots available in that event for Masters. But certainly Sentinels has been tried and true for so long, and to see them in Masters, I feel is fitting. Same could be said for Envy, and same could be said for Immortals, who consistently, even through roster change after roster change, find a way to be one of the best teams in the region. So I think we've gotten some really good teams through Masters already, with only more to come.
100%. Only more to come, as we do have that bracket and how things kind of shook out on the day here. This is the lower bracket where Sentinels are going to be waiting. So continuing to play throughout, you're playing for more money. And I think more importantly, the seeding going into Masters, that is going to be so incredibly huge here. And I mean, you got to follow that Sentinels run once more. Back in the lower bracket, like we saw in Challengers 1, they end up winning the darn thing. Now they're just waiting to see who is that winner over Luminosity and XSET. At that point in that lower round 3, we're going to have all 4 teams secured for Masters. They are then going to be duking it out to see, you know, where they stand in Masters. And tomorrow that matchup is going to be Envy and IMT to kick off the day. And that Immortals roster, they send LG back down yet again in the semifinals. It feels bad for LG, but they are really coming online. That is a roster that has impressed me so incredibly at the start of 2021. Probably one that not a whole lot of people, I guess I would say a whole lot of people were actually probably sleeping on.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a fantastic VCT so far. And again, we still have a lot more to go with more Challengers 2 action coming at you the next couple of days. We got Challengers 3 in a couple of weeks. We got Masters coming up after that. We already have some fantastic teams qualified for Masters between Immortals, Sentinels, and Envy. One more team will get decided a little bit later on between XSET and LG. That's going on the second channel, Nurse Street Gamers 2, which I'm sure we're going to host once we wrap things up here. I'm not sure what actually is next. I think you got that, Tanner. So I'm going to pass it to the professional here. Let him, you know, whatever we got else we got to get through. I'm sure there's some more things. Maybe like talk about why this box is beside me, as people for some reason thought that I wasn't aware that it was there. You know, I only look at the same feed that you're looking at. So yeah, I guess I just missed it. So why don't you tell the people why the box is there, Tanner?
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. I've got a matching box behind me as well, guys. That is because HyperX
No one noticed that for some reason, by the way. No one.
Nobody tweeted at me about that one. But we've obviously got one of our partners here in HyperX doing their darndest to keep this thing powered, just as Nerd Street Gamers is as well. And you guys know what it is. We've been so deep into this one. We've talked about the HyperX Cloud 2 wireless. Now we talk about what HyperX does as a whole. It's not just headsets, but it's every single day, guys. Billions of people wake up, eat, and fire up a game as a part of their daily routine. I did that same thing today, this morning, before hopping on the desk with you, Dustin. Console or PC, casual or pro, no matter what your creed, color, or culture, we're all gamers, and HyperX is always ready to game. I think the 2 most important things, console or PC, casual or pro, it doesn't matter. We're all gamers, guys, and you need that top-notch gear. So make sure you are checking that out from HyperX. And I mean, on the day as a whole, you kind of already said your piece, but I want to tie it, or I want to give you one last second to like tie a nice little bow on it, because that's going to do it for us. So before I close out the show, moving forward on the day today, on the day yesterday, is there anything you got to kind of just, like I said, tie up a nice little bow on it?
No, I just thank everyone for obviously tuning in. We had a lot of viewership today, and we really appreciate the support over here at Nerd Street Gamers, and I'm sure Ryan appreciates it as well, as we're growing this esport, and it's going in a great direction, and definitely appreciate all of you for tuning in. We hope that you'll follow up the channels, this one and Nerd Street Gamers 2, as we still have more VCT action to bring you over the next couple of days, and of course going into Challengers 3 and Masters over the coming weeks. Also, if you enjoyed us, you can give us a follow. It's at Followed Us on Twitter for me, at Tanner_Metro for Tanner over there. And we got some great casting coming up for you. I think we got Uber and Nothing coming in. They already announced that publicly today. I don't want to steal anybody else's thunder, but we got some other cool faces coming through the next couple of days as well. And again, we still got some matches going on the other channel, so make sure you go check that out. That's all I got.
We do still have Luminosity taking on XSET up 1-0 in that series. The loser is going to join FaZe Clan, Gen G, and 100 Thieves in Challengers 3. So they've got some time to hang out. The winner will look to play Sentinels, obviously, tomorrow, as we saw that schedule breakdown earlier. But more importantly, will lock their spot into Masters as one of the 4 remaining. Now, with that being said, unfortunately, it does things for us here today, but the Valorant action isn't done. You guys can head on over to Nerd Street Gamers too. And as Dust was saying, we'll probably give them a nice little host, but you guys can see who is going to be that last team qualifying, who Sentinels will play tomorrow. But if you are not going to stick around for that, guys, more Valorant action this weekend. Tomorrow, same time, same place, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can find us here at Nerd Street Gamers. We're going to be kicking things off in the upper finals. On behalf of myself, Dust, the entire production crew, Nerd Street Gamers, Riot Games, all that good stuff, I want to thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you guys right back here tomorrow.